The adventurous story begins with a vast ocean where a boat was stuck, barely moving forward. Inside that boat was a man named Robin, traveling with his wife and children. They also had many different animals on board, which they were transporting. In fact, they were heading to another city to open their own museum. Since there was no other way besides the sea to take the animals, Robin and his entire family set out across the water toward another harbor. But that harbor was still very far away and might take them several days to reach. Robin's wife was named Lisa, and they had 3 children. Soon, something shocking happened. A storm began to form. The waves grew violent, rain poured down, and Robin's ship was badly damaged. Water started flooding the boat, making it clear they wouldn't last long. Robin kept trying to bail water out and protect his children, but he realized escape was impossible. The ship was about to sink, and all the animals inside were panicking. Just then, they spotted a nearby island, giving them a glimmer of hope. They climbed to the top deck and looked toward it. Robin and Lisa decided they had to head for that island, where they might find resources, because staying at sea was far too dangerous. Robin's youngest son insisted they bring the animals along, since they could drown, but Robin said first they needed to get the family to safety and then transfer the animals one by one. Francis, who loved the animals dearly, grew upset that they weren't being prioritized. For now, Robin crafted something to float on and began sending his wife and kids toward the island. But their 2 pet dogs jumped into the water, trying to follow. Although dogs are strong swimmers, the current was so fierce they began to drown. Even though Robin was close to reaching shore with his family, he couldn't bear to leave the dogs behind, so he pulled them aboard. After great struggle, they finally reached the island's shore. But their biggest challenge remained, getting all the animals safely across. Some were so heavy that if they jumped into the water, they would surely sink. Robin decided they should wait until morning, set up a tent, and rest for the night before trying again. Together with his 3 children, Robin built a small hut, and they managed to complete it. That night, he shared his worries with Lisa. Though they had reached land, there was no telling when they could escape. With no supplies, they would have to rely on natural resources. Heavy rain made things worse, flooding the shore and destroying their shelter. By morning, Robin and his sons returned to the sinking ship and strapped containers onto the trapped animals. This allowed them to float and paddle themselves to shore. Slowly, the animals began making it across. But then Robin's eldest son, Finn, noticed a ship approaching. At first, they thought they might get help, but as it drew closer, they realized the truth. These weren't rescuers, they were pirates, who captured travelers and stole their resources. Their leader had already given the order to attack. The good thing was that Robin's ship also had a cannon, which he prepared to use in retaliation. But Robin made a smart decision at the right moment. Instead of firing, he raised a flag first. As soon as the pirates saw it, they turned away, sparing Robin and his family's lives. These pirates were extremely dangerous, and in reality, if you ever encounter them while traveling at sea, you must remember one thing: they only come out to rob travelers of their resources and money. If they even suspect you might attack them, they won't hesitate to strike back. In such a situation, you have to remain completely calm. Don't hold any weapons or devices in your hands. Make sure they see that you're not a threat. If they sense danger from you, your chances of survival are slim. Try to stay as far away from their ship as possible, and hide your valuables in a secure spot. The real trouble begins when pirates attempt to board your boat. If that happens, you should lock yourself inside a room or even a bathroom. Pirates usually have no knowledge of modern equipment, so you can use that to your advantage. Meanwhile, use the VHF channel to send a distress call and request immediate help. But on the island, something else was happening. While Lisa was busy working, she suddenly noticed that her youngest son, Francis, was missing. She searched nearby but couldn't find him, so she sent their 2 dogs to track him down. Francis, meanwhile, was in the forest trying to play with a baby elephant he had found. The elephant seemed interested in playing too, but suddenly a fierce tiger appeared. As soon as it spotted Francis, it began moving slowly toward him. Before it could attack, the 2 dogs arrived, leaping at the tiger and biting at it. Startled, the tiger fled. When Lisa reached Francis, she scolded him harshly, warning him never to wander off like that again. Soon Robin and the 2 older boys returned as well. Their small hut had collapsed, so they needed a new shelter to survive. Together, Robin, Lisa, and the children decided to build a treehouse, a home made entirely from natural resources, perched on a tall tree. They began working with full energy, even getting help from the baby elephant, which carried the heaviest materials for them. Francis, however, was still distracted with play. When he saw a monkey swinging on vines, he tried to copy it but lost his grip and fell. Though not badly hurt, Lisa scolded him again, forbidding him from climbing higher. After many hours of hard work, the family finally completed their treehouse. They surprised Lisa, and when she stepped inside, she was amazed. Everything they had once dreamed of years ago, living a natural life together, had now come true. With such a solid treehouse, they no longer had to worry about shelter. They even collected plenty of natural resources. Each family member had their own separate room, where they could live comfortably. Despite being stranded on an isolated island, they were actually enjoying themselves, unaware of the harsh reality still lurking. Robin's family had already begun bonding with the animals around them, exploring and gathering supplies. Meanwhile, Robin's older sons, Finn and Nis, built their own raft and set out into the ocean to explore further. Their job was to gather resources and bring them back for the family. Sometimes they collected fruits, other times they caught fish to survive. While exploring further one day, they suddenly spotted a group of pirates gathered near the shore. Terrified, the brothers quickly hid behind a rock so they wouldn't be seen. But the real problem was that the ocean waves near the shore were extremely strong, pushing their raft forward uncontrollably. The current became so powerful that their raft completely broke apart. Somehow, both brothers managed to swim to shore. From there, they saw the pirates holding a captain hostage, along with his helper. The brothers decided they had to help them, otherwise, it was clear the pirates were going to kill them. Carefully, without being noticed, Finn and Nis approached and began untying the helper's hands so he could escape. But soon the pirates realized someone was helping, and they spotted the brothers. Finn and Nis quickly freed the helper, but with the pirates now aware, the three of them ran into the forest and hid in the bushes. The pirates searched for a long time but found nothing, eventually moving away. What Finn and Nis didn't know, however, was that another pirate was watching them from nearby. Fortunately, the brothers and the helper came up with a clever plan, knocked the pirate down, and escaped far from the spot. The real challenge now was that Finn and Nis had no idea where they were on the island. They didn't know how to find their parents or the treehouse they had built by the shore. For the moment, they felt relieved when they realized the pirates had left the island, but they still needed to find their family. The helper boy continued with them as they moved forward. Eventually, they came across a small pond. Excited, Finn and Nis decided to swim and invited the helper to join them. But strangely, the helper refused, looking extremely nervous. Finn started to grow suspicious of him. Suddenly, the helper pulled out a gun and pointed it at them. Shocked, the brothers realized something was wrong. When Finn knocked off the helper's hat, the truth was revealed: it wasn't a boy at all, but a girl in disguise. She introduced herself as Roberta and explained that the captain they had seen was actually her father. To protect her from the pirates, he had disguised her as a boy. But she had no idea if her father was still alive or dead. After learning the truth, Finn and Nis began taking care of Roberta, knowing she was weaker than them. Roberta, in turn, appreciated their kindness and grew close to them. She especially enjoyed spending time with Nis, sharing songs and jokes along the way. They laughed together, but Finn wasn't entirely happy about how close his younger brother and Roberta were becoming. With no other option, the three of them continued along the waterways. But suddenly, danger struck again. An enormous anaconda attacked, lunging at Finn and Nis, trying to crush and devour them. Both brothers had weapons, and with them they managed to kill the snake and free themselves. Roberta was terrified after witnessing this and insisted they shouldn't take the water route anymore. But the brothers knew there was no other choice. They had to keep moving forward until they reached their parents. The real problem was that Ness had lost the compass. Trying to impress Roberta, Finn boldly declared that he didn't need a compass, claiming he knew the way perfectly well. Ness knew the truth, that Finn was only pretending to look cool in front of her. What they didn't realize was that this arrogance was about to lead them into real danger. As they moved on, they encountered many animals living happily in the wild. Along the way, tension grew between them because neither Ness nor Roberta wanted to follow Finn's directions, but they had no choice except to stick together. Moving into a rocky area, Finn noticed a zebra trapped in a swamp, surrounded by hyenas trying to attack it. He immediately rushed to fight off the hyenas, with Ness and Roberta joining in to help pull the zebra free. Together, they managed to save it. Meanwhile, on the other side, Robin and his wife Lisa were shown decorating their treehouse beautifully, as it was Christmas, the day they had first met and fallen in love. Robin and Lisa were happy, showering their youngest son Francis with gifts. Suddenly, they heard noises outside. Rushing down, they saw their two older sons and an unfamiliar girl. Once inside, Finn and Ness introduced Roberta to their parents. Robin and Lisa welcomed her warmly, delighted to see someone who shared their adventurous spirit. Roberta grew especially close to Lisa, even seeing her as a mother figure. Lisa joyfully gave Roberta one of her dresses, and when she wore it, she looked stunning. Both Ness and Finn were shocked at how beautiful she appeared. Robin played music and invited Roberta to dance, and Ness soon joined in as well. They enjoyed themselves, but Finn burned with jealousy, realizing that both he and Ness had fallen for Roberta. This, of course, was destined to create rifts between the brothers. By the next day, Roberta had become an important part of the family, joining in all their survival routines. Robin and his sons even destroyed their old boat so no one else could reach the island. They were content with the life they had built. Robin also suggested building another home on the mountain for extra security, and the children eagerly joined the project. During this time, Roberta shared stories of how much she loved London, suggesting that if they ever escaped by boat, they could reach it and live a new life. But Ness and Finn both preferred the island, enjoying its freedom. One day, Finn pulled Roberta aside behind a rock to talk privately, which Ness disliked and secretly followed to see what they were doing. From this moment, cracks began forming between the brothers. Meanwhile, their youngest sibling Francis was causing his own trouble. By accident, he created a coconut bomb. When he lit it and threw it, it exploded, shocking everyone. Furious, the family scolded Francis and took him back to the treehouse. While talking with Finn, Roberta asked him to come with her to London, telling him her grandfather had a business where Finn could work. But Finn preferred staying with his family. He loved the island too much, so he refused her offer. Later, at the shore, Finn was carrying a shotgun, and Roberta eagerly asked him to teach her how to shoot. Finn, thrilled at the chance to impress her, moved close and stylishly showed her how to handle the weapon. From that moment, it was clear that Roberta also had feelings for Finn. Soon after, Ness showed up and saw everything. He hated the sight of Roberta getting so close to his brother. Though he said nothing at first, later, when Finn approached him, the two got into a heated fight and nearly attacked each other until Robin intervened just in time to separate them. Roberta realized she might be the reason the brothers were fighting, but none of them knew a far greater danger was heading their way. A tiger was stalking toward their location. Roberta told Finn he should forget about her, as she didn't want to cause rifts in his family, but Finn insisted it wasn't like that. Meanwhile, the rest of the family was enjoying themselves, unaware of the looming threat, until the sound of a fierce growl echoed. Robin knew instantly it was a tiger, one of the predators he had set traps for across the area. When they checked, they discovered the tiger trapped in a pit, and the family felt relieved, even excited, at the idea of killing it for food. They celebrated, treating it like a holiday vacation, and Robin reassured his sons that everything would be fine if they just stayed patient. The family bonded together, enjoying the moment, grateful simply to be alive and united. That was the greatest gift. Soon they played with the animals around them, even racing different creatures for fun, with Lisa and Roberta leading the way. Everything seemed perfect, until the shocking moment when a group of pirates spotted them from offshore. The pirate leader ordered his men to raid the family, convinced they might possess valuable resources or even treasure. Without hesitation, the pirates turned their ship toward the island, ready to eliminate Robin's family. Pirates lived by one rule: their own survival came first, even if it meant destroying others. While Robin and his family laughed on the beach, they suddenly noticed the approaching threat and quickly grew alert, fleeing toward safety. Robin knew that to survive on the island, they would have to defend themselves against pirates, and he had long anticipated such an attack. Using the time they had before, Robin and his sons had built several traps. Taking his family with him, Robin led them to the mountain house, which they had specifically constructed for this purpose. The pirate leader commanded his men to capture the family, and their large numbers descended toward the hills. But just then, they stumbled into the first trap. Robin and his sons destroyed the wooden bridge the pirates were crossing, sending many plunging into the waters below. At the same time, hidden auto-firing arrows were launched, injuring several attackers. Still, Robin knew these defenses alone wouldn't be enough against such overwhelming numbers. That's why he had prepared even more plans in advance. The pirate leader kept guiding his men on how to advance, but soon they stumbled into the second trap. Several pirates fell straight into the tiger pit. The sound of the enraged tiger terrified many of them, and they ran, since pirates of the old world had no knowledge of modern ways to handle wild animals. Unlike today, they had no techniques to protect themselves. Still, the leader quickly realized the tiger couldn't escape the pit and ordered his men not to fear. Instead, he threatened them to climb the mountain and capture the entire family. Obeying without question, the pirates began their ascent. From above, Robin and his family were ready, hiding in their secured area. Robin released the next trap. Chunks of wood and bombs filled with gunpowder came crashing down. The explosions injured several pirates, while others were crushed by the debris. But the attackers quickly adapted, learning to dodge the falling bombs by predicting their trajectory. Clearly, they weren't just mindless raiders, they were evolving to fight smarter. That's when Robin pulled out the coconut bomb Francis had accidentally created earlier. He tossed it directly at the pirates. Mistaking it for an ordinary coconut, they caught it carelessly, only for it to explode seconds later. The blast worked perfectly, saving the family at the crucial moment. What Francis had built by accident was now their greatest weapon, proving that Robin's small family could stand strong against an entire pirate clan. After suffering heavy losses, the pirates retreated, shocked that a normal family had resisted them with such clever traps. Even the pirate leader was badly injured, but he wasn't ready to surrender. Though more than half his men were down, he signaled to the survivors with a secret hand gesture. Its meaning would soon be revealed. Meanwhile, on the mountain, Robin's family rejoiced, believing they had won. They felt safe, certain the pirates wouldn't dare return. Finn, Ness, and Roberta shared the joy, and Roberta realized that staying with this family might be far safer than heading to London, where pirates might have ambushed her journey. But what they didn't know was that the pirates were just as cunning. Instead of charging again from the front, their leader led the surviving men around to the backside of the mountain. Quietly and carefully, they climbed, unseen by the family. Robin and his sons were unaware of this new approach, convinced their traps had ended the threat. Luckily, Francis, curious as ever, peeked from the other side and spotted the pirates sneaking upward. Alarmed, he shouted to warn his family and began hurling bombs down at them. Robin and his sons rushed to fight, but by then many pirates had already reached the top and launched their assault. Lisa and Roberta were now in grave danger, surrounded by men wielding sharp weapons. One wrong move could mean their deaths. Robin and his sons fought desperately, trying to push the invaders back down, but Robin had never prepared for an attack from the rear. He realized too late that they had overlooked this weakness. Now their only chance was to fight with everything they had and stop the pirates from overwhelming the mountain stronghold. After much struggle, they managed to push some pirates down, but Robin's family was now greatly weakened. Somehow, they dragged their members into the small shelter they had built, fearing that they had finally lost and the pirates would seize their resources. But just then, a massive explosion shook the air. It wasn't their trap. One of the pirates' ships had been completely destroyed. Looking farther out, they realized another large ship had arrived. It was the Navy, and on that very ship Roberta's grandfather had once served. They had come to help, firing on the pirates and driving them away. The explosion was so powerful that no pirate dared remain. Even the pirate leader retreated, knowing their old weapons were no match for modern firepower. Fighting now would mean certain death, so escape was their only option. As the pirates fled, the Navy's rescue ship arrived for Robin's family. Roberta felt overjoyed that her grandfather had come just in time. Any later, and their lives might have been lost. Before leaving, Robin invited everyone back to their treehouse, where they shared simple food from the land. Roberta introduced her grandfather to the family, explaining how they had rescued her from the pirates and protected her. Deeply grateful, her grandfather offered them a chance to come with him to the city, promising a new life together. Ness, who dreamed of becoming a Navy man, decided to join him so he could study and train in the city. Robin and Lisa were proud that their son would grow into a fine man. But Lisa, deep down, wished to remain with her husband in this place she had grown to love. From the beginning, she and Robin had dreamed of living out their lives here in peace. After much thought, Robin and Lisa decided to stay. Their youngest son, Francis, also chose to remain, loving the animals too much to leave them behind. Finn too was happy to stay, which meant Ness would be the only one to leave with his grandfather. Before departing, Roberta's grandfather warned Robin and Lisa to think again, as pirates might one day return. But it was clear their decision was final. Finn grew deeply sad knowing Roberta would be leaving. The two had fallen in love, and he couldn't imagine being apart. Before going, Roberta met Finn one last time, hugged him, and kissed him. They expressed their love openly, but Ness witnessed it all. In that moment, he realized that even though both he and Finn loved Roberta, the choice was hers to make, and it was clear she loved Finn. Seeing this, Roberta told her grandfather she wished to stay with Finn on the island. In the end, only Ness left with his grandfather to the city, while the rest remained. The family said their goodbyes as Ness's ship sailed away, and those who stayed behind began living their peaceful life on the island. And so, our story ends here.